Friday evening, which means it's Sid Says, as usual, every week. Thank you for joining us. And with me, I've got my main man, my sidekick, my deck to the ant, or whatever you want to call. We have Sam, Spurs for Life, in the house. Sam, how are you? And how is the heat?
We can't complain because obviously when it's hot, we have to just accept it. But it is warm. Like I said, I've got this fan on here. I don't know if you can hear it in the background. I'm hoping not. But yeah, just trying to get through the day, man. It's been an eventful one.
Absolutely been an eventful one. And I'm just going to quickly, if you're joining us, thank you for joining us. Please like, subscribe, and follow our wonderful channel. And we're not doing any advertisements yet, so yeah, we'll leave this out. But just smash that like button and have that notification bell ringing, because we're always giving you, we're delivering content. Unlike Aubameyang didn't deliver at Arsenal, we deliver every week. And I've got one comment. I'm going to quickly read that comment and then I'm going to start off the show. So, good evening, Kevin Murray in the house, and his comment is basically, I've had enough of this heat, impossible to sleep at night. You know what you want to do, Kevin? You want to listen to Bobby Brown. I can't sleep at night. I toss and turn, wait for Tottenham game.
No, but seriously, Kevin's got a point. Last night was murder. It was murder last night. I had all the windows open, no breeze. It was terrible. But anyway.
But you know what? It's not just last night.
We can't complain too much, can we?
No, well, we're Great Britain. We like to complain. We complain about everything and anything. And yes, anyway, thank you for joining us. Tonight's show, it's all about the Udogie, Destiny Udogie signing and a couple of other bits on players that we're going to talk about, transfer related, a bit of gossip as well. I'm calling it early with the Destiny Udogie deal. It has been done and dusted, but I think he's coming next Monday or Tuesday for his medical, and everything's done and dusted. If you didn't see it, Wednesday, I'd done the breaking news live from outside the stadium, and it was quite interesting actually, Sam. I didn't tell you about this, but whilst I was doing the recording, I had a few groups of people walking past. Oh, can I come and get interviewed? Can I come interview? Who are you working for? And I'm like, yes, Paxton Road TV, boys and girls.
In there, his house. Well done, you. I saw it. Look, like I said, that's why I've nicknamed you Sid McDonald, because it was so professional. You had the mic and everything, and it was like, yes, welcome to Paxton Road. I was like, yeah, God.
That's it, But the thing is, everyone that's watching, listening, you've got to look out for us now, because on match days, it's something we're going to be looking into. And myself and Sam, I've not told Sam yet, but I'm now telling him, we're going to be around, and hopefully we'll grab a few people and we'll do a few interviews, and then we'll post them straight after the game and all sorts of stuff. So this youngster that we've bought, Destiny Udogie. It's quite funny actually, because when you Google him, it's not Destiny. He's got, I think it's a different name, which I'm not even going to go and try and pronounce and put it up there. But yeah, 19 years old, left back. Before I show you a quick glimpse, have you heard of him? Have you got any info, any itinerary on this young man?
None. The only thing I've got is obviously the reports that have been published. Apparently, Udogie is one of the, I guess, up-and-coming talents of Udogie. 19 years of age, as you said, left wing back. Apparently, one of the best prospects in Italian football, and certainly, potentially for us, he could be a real player. But we don't know, do we? Until he comes to the Premier League, we have no idea.
Absolutely. And for people that have already Googled him, YouTubed him, there's loads of content about on him, all the good things. And we've had this discussion before, Sam, where people always put the good things, right? And there's some 8-minute videos, there's some 5-minute videos, there's loads and loads of videos on there. So, little bit of a compilation. So if everyone here, ladies and gentlemen, Destiny Udogie. as you can see from that little 25-30 seconds, boy's got tech, the boy has got some techers.
Yeah, that's what I've read into. I've heard he's very technically gifted. He's got the power, he's got the pace, 19 years of age, and he can only get better, hopefully, barring any injuries, barring any calamities in his career. And I think this is obviously one for the future. We've loaned him back for a year. If the deal gets done, we have to do that. But it pretty much, it's got the Fabrizio Romano. Here we go. So I think it's pretty much there.
Excuse me. Did you just say who?
Oh,
we don't mention
it's got the Sid Says. So it's definitely
yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Sorry about that. It's got the Sid Says, Jay, ladies and gentlemen. So it's done. Right. It's done. It's done. Sorry.
It's done and dusted. So let's just give you a little bit of information on him. Like I said to you before, 19 years old, born in Verona in Italy, club Udinese. He's 6'1", and his position is a defender stroke midfielder, predominantly playing on the left, hence left-footed. Last season, he made 37 appearances, 2,687 minute gameplay, 3 assists and 5 goals. That is not bad for a left back, in my opinion. That's quite decent stats.
That's not bad at all. Like I said, the Conte system, he's alluded to it himself. He wants goals. He wants assist creativity from his wing backs. We could say on the right-hand side, maybe with the Emerson thing, he's not quite. Although saying that, Emerson had a pretty good game at the weekend, so I'm not going to knock him too much. He had a decent game, got an assist for Kulusevski. Obviously, Sessegnon and Perisic on that left-hand side. This is one for the future. We all know it's one for the future. But I really do hope that, I don't know if you saw Conte's interview today in regarding the press conference for the game of the weekend, but he made a point that we've got to get, and this is Spurs, we've got to get the transfers right. So he must have had some influence into this to say, yeah, I like that player, go for it. And so I'm good with that.
See, the thing is, and I've said this before, players that we're getting in now or for the future, Conte's giving his stamp of approval, right? He ain't gonna get players that he doesn't want because he's already got 4, maybe less players from previous managers that he doesn't want. So there's not a cut in hell chance now. He's got a checkbook coming out. He's going to go and buy players because I think he also said in an interview as well, didn't he? They asked him about the more incomings, and he basically said, "You know what?
Was that Conte? That
was Conte. Okay. Yeah, that was Conte just telling me, yo, what's going on? No, so that was basically him saying, I've got players in. I can't get everyone that I want in this one particular window. I've got what I wanted. I probably might get 1 or 2 in, but I've got to wait. I can't get everything that I want in now in one window. It's impossible." And I think what he's also alluding to there is I need to get rid of some players before I do anything else whatsoever.
I think it was a really good press conference because a lot of people have got this thing about Conte that he talked. I think I go back to Gary Neville's point. He didn't want Conte at Man United because of the fact that he might, talk too much, say too much against the board, against, how things are run. Well, isn't that what you want? Isn't that what you want? So look where we are. Look how Conte started to say certain things about how the club, maybe didn't make the right choices in the transfer window. How, we haven't quite reached the heights that we should have been. And what's happened since then? Daniel Levy, the board, as a collective, PRTv, they've all gone forwards. We've had a pretty good transfer window. I think the problem at the moment we've got, and you just touched on it, we have to get players out the door. Now, is this a Paratici thing? Because again, going back to what people talked about, one of the weaknesses, or certainly one of the less stronger points of Paratici was that he wasn't able to get players out the door as quickly as he got players in. We can't really get any more players until we get some of these high earners out the door now.
This is it. I think that's what he's looking at as well. I still think there's still a couple of more players to come in. I think, or well, not come in, but maybe 1 or 2 that he still wants. There's that left centre back still an issue. Attacking midfielder's an issue as well, and there's still names being thrown in. So there's on one hand Depe's been linked, and they say no, he's not been linked. Conte's interested, no, he's not interested. So there's still things happening, and I still think we've got like 19 days left. I don't think we're not going to end up with anyone. We've got a magnificent 7, but we might 8. I don't know if we'll do 9, but I think we might do 8.
What was the transfer fee? Was it 20 million? Was it?
Or 20. It's 15 million plus add-ons.
Okay.
So it's 15 million to start off with, and then it's going to be all add-ons and everything else over the years. So I think it'll be appearances, medals, wins, blah 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 blah.
Yeah. If you think about it as just a straight business case, that's really good business. You know what I mean? 15 million. Let's say even rose to 20 million for someone who's 19. Now, if they get to 21, you would hope that even a 21-year-old left wing back, left-sided players in general maybe command a little bit more, because I don't know that many great left footers in the world, but there's a few. But yeah, if he goes on to do really well, even if we don't keep him, we should certainly at least get that money back. 19, 21, and when in 2 years' time, it's a no-brainer. Good business.
The thing is as well is he's done well last season at Udinese, right? So let him develop for an extra year, because we've bought Perisic, right? The experienced left back. We've got Sessegnon now, so Sessegnon has to raise his game, which he did last weekend against Southampton. All right, people will say it's only Southampton. It doesn't matter. It's Premiership football. Every team, doesn't matter who they are, you've got to come up. You can't just say, "Oh, it's Southampton today. I'll just play 50%." No, you have to play 100%, and Conte will demand 100% from every single player, whether you're playing Bournemouth, Accrington Stanley, Liverpool, Bayern Munich, or whoever. And now he's got he's got Perisic waiting in the wings, right? Because he knows deep down that Perisic is going to be the main man. So I have to play my heart off to get ahead of him. And if I play well, then I think Conte is the type of player who'll pick a player on his performance rather than the name. I know a lot of people have said Perisic should start, he's world class, blah, blah, blah. He's not seen Perisic for Tottenham in the Premier League. Whereas Cess, he has seen him. So maybe last week it was a bit of a tester for him. He come out of trumps. It'll be interesting to see if Cess starts on Sunday, but at some point Perisic will come in and he'll grab hold of that place and he'll take it. Destiny Udogie, go on.
No, so I wanted to touch on your point about the starting 11, and obviously we were all very surprised at the starting 11. There was no new players in the starting 11. Now, we did a show on Monday about the mentality sort of thing. Is Conte playing mind games? Now, this is one of the things which I think is really key. He's got a winning team at the moment. They won 4-1. They went a goal down. They've come back. They've played Southampton off the park. I've watched that highlights. I've watched the whole game again on Spurs Play. Just do a little plug for Spurs Play there, if you watch it. We had loads of chances. Even at the game, we were both there. It looked like we were really on top of the game. But when you watched the actual game itself, we really did kill them. Now, do you think that we could now go into the Chelsea game and just make wholesale changes? I don't think so. Because if you think about it, if we started the same 11 that did really well against Southampton, think of all the players that we've got on the bench. Richarlison comes back into the equation. Basuma, Perisic, Spence. Longlay's injured, so he's not going to make it. But then we've still got all the other players that we've talked about as well, the Lucases of the world. You know what I mean? Sanchez is on the bench as well. You have to, all the players are really fit. So there's competition for places. So again, we can make changes from the bench that's going to influence the game. So I think it might not go down well with all Spurs fans, but I think it should be the same team that starts, in my opinion.
The thing is, right, what we've got to realise is Klopp's, the Peps, people like that, when you've got a winning side and you've just won comfortably, why would you change the team? You play with that team because that's just won you 3 points. He's giving you a good performance. Unless someone's injured, you make a change. You just don't change players just for the sake of it. You've got to keep... I mean, for example, Cess, he had a decent game. If you drop him now against Chelsea, how's he going to feel? And then Perisic comes in and Perisic has a crap game, right? Cess will be thinking, hold on, what did I do wrong?
Think about it yourself. Like I said, if you're in a game and let's say we were struggling, who would you probably more likely want to come on the pitch to change the game due to their experience? I'd want Perisic as opposed to Sessegnon. So if we started Perisic and then we had to do something to change the game, we're not going to get a player that's better to come on and do something. Now, Sessegnon might come on and do bits. I don't know. But if I'm just looking at the two players and I'm weighing them up, I'm thinking Perisic is going to be more of a game changer because of the fact he's got that experience, two-footed. When he came on and made that cameo appearance against Southampton, the defender didn't know what to do. You know, was he going to go on his left side? Was he going to cut inside? And that's really, really good for us to have the ability of top quality players. Richarlison, again, he's a thorn in Chelsea's side when they played against him. So again, he might be a player that's really influential on the weekend. I really want to beat them badly as well.
And we touched on this as well the other day. The fact that 70 odd minutes you can bring 3 substitutions on, and we bought on Moura, we bought on Perisic, and we bought on Bissouma, right? And we were comfortably winning the game. Can you imagine now if it's a tight game or we're losing maybe 1-0, to bring them 3 on and add Richarlison on, right, in one goal? Can you imagine that? That is like, for Conte, that's like, wow, I didn't have that last season and I done well with what I had. Now this season, I can now look at my bench and I'm like,
Can you imagine let's say 3 subs: Bissouma, Perisic, and Richarlison. Those 3 subs in themselves are first team players, first team starters for their teams. Do you know what I mean? So to bring them on in place of possibly Sessegnon, I don't know, possibly Kulusevski, Son, Kane, possibly Bentancur or Houbier in the midfield. There's no weakness. And this is exactly what Conte wanted. He wants to bring in players that doesn't weaken the team. Last season, we know he was doing this. That's what he was doing. So yeah, I'm so excited for Sunday, because even if we're struggling during the game and depending on who he starts with, we've got players that can change it. 100%.
This is it. 100%. Right. Before we move on, just like to welcome everyone that's joined us, whether you're watching us on Facebook, on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, whatever. Thank you for joining us. Just smash that like button, follow the channel, and put your notifications on, because boy, it's going to keep ringing. I'm telling you, because that song Ring My Bell is going to keep going. Ring my bell, ring my bell, because there's always something going on, whether it's my shows, Sam shows, Geordie's, Sean's, Darius, Hotspur Hurley's.
Don't forget the Slayer. You can't forget the Slayer.
Oh, I'm going to leave that. How to train the Dragon Slayer. So we've got our own very deadly, the Dragon Arsenal Slayer. Yeah, he's getting a costume made as well now, because he takes him to bits. And I tell you what, if you haven't watched him, watch him, because Deji, I'm telling you, he's always on fire.
Deji, just a quick one. Deji will be on the preview show tomorrow, as will Sid. 12 o'clock. We're previewing the game against Chelsea. Quick plug. Back to the show. Right.
JC saying, good evening, Paxton Road. Like button obliterated. Thank you very much for that. Kevin Murray saying, that lad can play Sid. Who are you going to drop? That's a good question. And guess what? It's not my job to do that. Let Conte deal with that one. Let Conte deal with that one. When next season comes, you never know. You know. Good evening, Issa A. He's saying Cucurella versus Kulu will be interesting. Kulu struggled against him when we were at home last season. That one, I can understand that. But this is all about transfers, gossips, new signings. This one will be covered on the preview show at the weekend. So, Issa A, yes, we understand your question. However, I said this the other day. When Cucurella came on the other day for Chelsea against Everton, he looked like someone had put a rocket up his, because he was just running around everywhere like a little kid who's been given loads of sweets and he doesn't know what to do, or a kid that's been given fizzy drinks, and he was just running around. So I don't think there's going to be a problem for Kulu this season with Cucurella.
Not him. He just looked like Cuckoo. You could take off the Rella bit. He just looked like Cuckoo when I saw him that day.
Yeah.
But obviously his first game for Chelsea, he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. Don't get yourself wrong. We know he's a good player. But to come into the Chelsea team, to then just come in and expect to be, the main person against Kulusevski, anyway, we'll touch on it tomorrow.
Exactly. Spursy 141, good evening, Judge. Happy Friday, people. Elbow cough. Right, so that's Destiny Udogie, or I'm sure I'm saying it wrong. Him out of the way. Right, let's move on. So this is now just transfers and gossips and stuff like that, because obviously Sid Says is the man. So first one's first. Ndombele, Winks, and Reguilon excluded from first team squad training. Apparently, Conte's had enough completely of all of them. The next person on that list is 4, but the 4th person I'm going to mention in a minute. Best decision for him to do?
Yeah, you can't. It's difficult enough to manage players, professionals, this level in terms of man management. We've seen how other managers are struggling, Ten Hag being one of them. So you can't have players who possibly could disrupt the environment. So to have Ndombele, Winks, Reguilon excluded from the first team, I think is a good thing, because he knows that they're not going to play. They may have designs of playing, but Conte obviously doesn't fancy them playing. So there's no point in keeping a player training with other players, knowing they're not going to get a game. There's going to be little sideline whispers here. Well, I don't really like that Conte guy. You know what I mean? And then you can really start demoralising your squad and break things down. You want to keep a happy squad. It's going to be difficult enough to keep those players happy, let alone the Ndombele's, Winks, and Reguilons. So it's best for them to go.
That's it. Next one. AC Milan are looking at Davison Sanchez as Tanganga interest cools down. Apparently, Tanganga's been put on the sideline and now they're interested in Davison Sanchez. Apparently, how true it is, I don't know, but Sanchez doesn't like Conte from what there's circulating. Hence why they've made him now #1 priority, because they must have, for them to say that, or the rumours, then there must be something in the air, because
that's surprising, because you remember all them games with Sanchez where we thought Sanchez shouldn't be starting. Why is Sanchez starting? And he was starting. Conte obviously put him in a team, and he did have other choices to play. He could have played. I know Tanganga was injured at some point, but there was other options to play at centre back, which he didn't do, and he played Sanchez. So there must have been something that's happened. But again, it's all speculation. We don't know this for facts, do we?
But for me, the choice out of them two, then I'd rather Tanganga left than Sanchez, to be fair. Because Sanchez, when he does play sometimes, towards the end of last season, 4 or 5 games, we kept clean sheets and whatever, and he played. So I'd rather keep him, because I've got more faith in him, right, than Tanganga, to be fair. So
my only issue with Sanchez is I think he struggles on the left side of the pitch because he's not left-footed, and he gets himself in a little bit of a muddle sometimes. I think on the right side, he is dependable to a point. We know we can improve on him, but if you gave me the choices you just said, Tanganga or Yaffert, it's Tanganga or Yaffert. Sanchez or Yaffert.
I know what you meant. I know what you meant.
Sanchez or Yaffert, I'm going with Sanchez. And that's a real big thing for me to say, because I didn't rate Sanchez. I still think he's got a rick in him, but he's been improved. We have to say that the players that Conte's had have been improved. So, yeah, keep him.
And the other thing as well, we've got to take into consideration, it's the World Cup year as well. So Sanchez will want game time. He'll want game time so that, he probably won't want to go into the World Cup rusty as hell, because he'll probably lose his place, because I know he's a regular for them. So it's all about game time. And if they promise him game time every week, then you know what, he might knock on the door to Conte and say, let me go. Moving on, Jermaine Defoe joins the academy coaching staff and as a club ambassador. Also Yaya Toure as well. A great addition. I just put that in here because obviously top player when he was at Spurs. I think it's a great addition to the coaching staff, especially for like Scarlets and Parrott. I know he's gone. They've both gone on loan, but it's a good addition.
I think Jermaine Defoe, Jermaine Defoe's played for a few clubs. He's played for West Ham. We know that he's played, up in Scotland as well. He's been around some London clubs, but I think he's got a real thing for Tottenham. Whenever I see him on Sky Sports, he talks about Tottenham as that's his club, and that's good to hear. So for him to be coming back, I think it was a real no-brainer. It doesn't take a lot for the players to see what he's done, because he's probably still all around the club in terms of, certain things that are probably up memorabilia, whatever. Jermaine Defoe was a really good player for us, a really, really good player. And I like him as a person. So yeah, I hope that these youngsters get some sort of like influence from him. You know, see him in there. Yaya Toure as well. Come on, man.
Yeah.
What?
You know, I mean, we've got potentially one of the top strikers in the Prem in his time, and we've got one of the top midfielders in his prime, right? Even now, people say that Yaya Toure was class, and then we got Ledley King, one of the best centre backs in his time. So that was all done all the way going up. So future's looking good. The future's looking good.
Yeah, don't forget about Ryan Mason as well. That top quality.
And Ryan Mason. Yeah. I was talking about top quality, mate. Right. So I don't know if you've heard about this one, but Chelsea are looking at gazumping Spurs Zaniolo deal by offering Pulisic as a straight swap. I read that today because obviously Barcelona are doing Chelsea over left, right, and centre. So now they're probably thinking, let's do one on Tottenham, and they're looking at Zaniolo by offering Pulisic as a straight swap. Only problem is Mourinho doesn't want to let Zaniolo go. Now, whether that's because he don't want him to come to Spurs or whether he might want to go to Chelsea, I don't know. But both his ex-clubs, and I think he shows a lot of faith in Zaniolo. So he's put his foot down and he said he doesn't want to sell him. So this one's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah. It doesn't. It seems to be. It doesn't really matter about money these days because you know Manchester United offered a lot of money for De Jong, just on a separate note. But player doesn't want. It appears the player doesn't want to go to Manchester United. Zaniola again. If the club want to keep him, we can't do anything about that. But now, if Chelsea come in and then the bid's accepted and the player does want to move, that would kind of think, what's going on here? But again, it's all speculation. We did the show about Zaniolo, Paqueta, and obviously Maddison.
Yeah.
I'm concerned about the injuries. I'm not going to lie to you. 2 ACL injuries before the age of 23. It doesn't look, it don't bode well for the future. I know that we've got medical staff and all the rest of the great stuff that we've got in terms of the, you know, medical is improved over the years. But 23, 2 ACLs. But he must be a decent player. If Jose doesn't want to let him go, he must be a good player.
Yeah, exactly. And he wants to come to Spurs. Paratici want him. Conte want him. So he's Conte's number one priority. So watch this space for that one. Still 17, 18, 19 days left. It could happen. Something might materialise between now and then. Hopefully to Spurs, not to Chelsea. This is a quick one I've heard today. Shawnee told me about this one as well. Could Alfie Devine be leaving Spurs? Right. So 17 years old. He wants to go out on loan. Leyton Orient apparently asked for him. They said no. There's other clubs interested. Spurs now apparently are looking at keeping him within Tottenham Hotspur Football Club and developing him there. He apparently is not happy because he knows he ain't going to get any game time. He wants game time. Hence, he wants a loan move to a Championship or League One or where League Two, whatever. So this is going to be like a bit of a dilemma, and it's going to be an interesting decision now for whoever's in charge. Should they keep him? Should they loan him? Because his contract runs out on 2024, and if he doesn't get the loan move, then he could potentially have to leave.
I'm not sure why the club would want to stop his development, or no, that's not right. I'll start again. Why would the club stop him from wanting to he wants to develop himself outside the club? He could stay with Spurs, but you know he's not going to start many games. He's probably not going to start any game, even in Carabao Cup, you know, whatever it is. We're not in the Conference League this season, so we're unlikely to see really, you know, inexperienced players playing. That was the Conference League. That's gone. We're Champions League now. Unless they've got a plan for him and they tell him the plan and the player's like, all right, then that sounds good. Then why not let him out on loan? Just let the guy go out on loan. You're not selling him. He has to come back to the club. The only thing is you might let him go out on loan for a year. He doesn't sign a contract within that year. Then he's only got a year left. That could be the issue that they're trying to, you know, resolve. So keeping him in the club might make it easier to do the transfer, the actual negotiations for an extended contract, if that's what they're planning to do.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one because obviously if they refuse the loan move, then he ain't going to be happy. And the last thing you want is an unhappy player at the club. So And then I've saved the best till last. Because I'm saving all the... Anyway. Lo Celso to Villarreal on loan with no buy option, which I am absolutely peed off about because, okay, you've got the deal. You're giving him to Villarreal on a loan deal. Fine. But now why have you put a no buy option? What they've got in place instead is a break option, which basically means in January, if somebody puts in a big bid, then we can call him back and say, right, this is the bid.
Mm-hmm.
Or if Villarreal decide to make a bid for him, or if for example, Sevilla put a bid in and Villarreal match it as well, then yes. However, this is a bit that pees me off. Lo Celso will still have to say. So if Sevilla put in a bid for him, Tottenham call him back and say, right, Sevilla put a bid for him. He can turn around and say, no, don't want to go there. Bye, I'm going back to Villarreal. So we're still going to be left with a player. For me, if you're going to get rid of players, you get rid of them completely. Kaput, Zinc, John, get out of my club, yeah? Or get out of my pub, as what's the name used to say in EastEnders, right? Get out, gone. Him and Dombele, Regulon. If you don't, get out of my club. If you don't want him in the club, then do deal with the option to buy. Don't give them a no-buy option because I know what these guys are going to do. They're going to keep going on loan, and then hellhole, a year and a half later, oh, my contract's up now. I can go on a free transfer. So we're going to end up with nothing.
I think with these deals, they have to negotiate with the player as well, because the player could actually say he doesn't actually want to go to that club. He doesn't mind going on loan, but then he might not want to go as a buy if they take up that option. Now, I think he's had a decent season with Villarreal. So I think he looks like he's... Lo Celso is a player that I think will do well in Spain. I think that's where he will do well. The problem we've got with him, though, is I think he's on decent money. There ain't many teams in Spain that have got any money. So the option to buy, they probably couldn't afford what Tottenham wanted to put in there. So Tottenham probably thought to themselves, you know what? We ain't going to get an option to buy out of this lot. So let's at least get him off, get out on loan. And the break clause means that if he plays really well, you never know. Somebody might just decide, oh, we're going to give you £95 billion for him, which is not going to happen. But you know what I mean? Somebody might see that he's worth a bit more than what maybe we think, or maybe even some of the Villarreal think. I don't know how much we're going to get for that guy.
Yeah. And that's the transfers and gossips summed up. Basically, Depay deal still... Yes, maybe no, I don't know, not interested, I don't know. Zaniolo is same again, don't know what's going on. Madison's cooled down completely. I think yesterday again, Paqueta's come back into the equation if we don't get Zaniolo. So it's all swinging in roundabouts. It's just a matter of who wants to come and who's not going to come. So it'll be interesting. But it's good to see players that we've been linked with are getting moves. I mean, Kostic is now gone to Juventus for 15 million, which I think is an absolute bargain. West Ham went in. Yeah, West Ham went for him, and they must have said they're not as massive as they think they are. So he's gone to Juventus. So interesting. Right, let's have a quick look at what people have got to say on here. Kevin Murray saying here, I agree, Sam. Match winners on the bench. Yeah, good evening to Craig. I'm confident it has to be good time to play an unsettled Chelsea. Correct. But correct me if I'm wrong. Last season, we was on form going to them and... What happens? You know,
it's a mentality thing, though, Sid. You know that last season we played them 4 times. It was all mental. We just didn't cope with the mental side of things. Now, I think that's changed. And as we will do tomorrow, I'm going to give you the reasons why I think Chelsea are not going to find this an easy walk in the park tomorrow. On Sunday, should I say.
That's fine. That's fine. People keep get your notifications for tomorrow's preview. It'll be an interesting one. Craig Bowler saying we are 1 short already on the homegrown quarter. So if Tanganga goes as well, we will have to leave 2 players out of the Champions League squad. We've said this time and time again, English players is going to be a problem for us at some point. But let's see what happens. Craig again saying with Lo Celso and Dembele, Reggie Winks going, we would still have 18 foreign players. So someone would have to be left out. And we could only name a 23-man squad plus the youngsters on the B list. It is going to be interesting, and it's a problem for Conte to have, and I'm sure he's looking at that. and I'm sure they'll rectify it at some point.
Might not be as easy as we think though, because again, with getting players out the door, it's all well and good people saying, sell him, get rid of him, do that. If a player's under contract, they don't have to do anything. Their agents may want them to move, but the player might be thinking, I like it here. I'm actually on a decent wage. Like Ndombele, when you're on 200 grand and you've not got the right option that you want to play for, you're probably not in that much of a rush to move. It all depends on what your focus is for that season. Now, we've got a World Cup season this year, so I think a lot of players who are looking to get into their club, their country team, they might want to play regularly, I hope.
This is it. In terms of anything else, I think we are done with the show. Just one slightly different on an angle. We, Paxton Road TV, are doing the Fantasy Premier League team. We've got about 10, I think, people already joined. If you haven't joined, these are all the details. Head over to fantasypremierleague.com/leagues and then go to auto join and use the code H12FLZ. We'll put it on the stream as well. So if you catch up later on, please join. There will be a prize at the end of the season for the team or the person with the best team and who wins the league. So yeah, if you haven't joined the league, come and join us because it'll be a bit of fun. And that about concludes the show. Sam, anything to say?
We're going to beat Chelsea at the weekend. That's what I'm going to say. But no, look out for the preview show tomorrow, 12 p.m. Myself, Udogie, Sid, and Sean, I think it's on that tomorrow. And then a review show Sunday, 6:30, 6:35 after the game, where we will be doing it. Hosted by myself because it's an away game. All the home games this season will be done by Udogie, the Arsenal slayer, and he's already going out there slaying Arsenal players and men and fans and anybody that's Arsenal related, just chopping them down. So yeah, he's on the home game. So yeah, busy weekend. Then Judge Jody as well. Don't forget to look out. That should be Monday or possibly Sunday. So yeah, that'll be coming as well. So yeah, we've got a lot coming on, Sid.
Action packed, and it's only live on Paxton Road TV. So tune in. If you already haven't subscribed to our channel, subscribe, smash that like button, and make sure you follow us. It's been an absolute pleasure on a Friday night. Keep cool, get them fans on, keep your windows open, and keep as cool as possible. And on that note, thank you very much for joining us. Good evening, and we shall see you tomorrow.